Hey, what's up guys? It's Rick with the Digital Divide, and today we're going to be making a how-to video, specifically how to repair a broken 8-bit Nintendo that is suffering from what I call the red blink of death. And some of you may not be familiar with this, so if you're not, I will give you an example, although it is fairly common, especially with these older systems. So I'll go ahead and yank out a random Nintendo game here and show you what I'm talking about. So we'll go ahead and plug this in, turn on the old tube, and then pop the game in. And I'll show you what happens here. You push it all the way in, then of course you push it down, power the system on, and instead of getting the video game, you are getting a flashing red light and a bunch of garbled nonsense on the TV. This is the issue with my current system, and today we're going to fix that, or at least we're going to try to. If you hop online, you can see that this is a super common issue. There are countless articles on Google with people that have the same problem, so I figured since I was going to repair this anyways, I might as well record it and make a how-to. Now, when this happens, it's typically because the contact board inside of the video game itself is not making good enough or proper contact with the internal 72-pin connector. And that can be caused by a number of factors. One or both of them could be dirty, or there could be like dust or debris inside the unit. So the first thing you want to do if this happens to you is just try cleaning your cartridge with some isopropyl alcohol. You just take a Q-tip, dip it in, and then you're going to want to thoroughly clean both sides of the contact board, the bottom and the top. I already know that this cartridge is clean. I'm just doing this as an example. So if you run into this, you may not need to open up your Nintendo. It may just be a dirty cartridge. So you're going to want to take some isopropyl alcohol and rub the top and bottom of the contacts, and then dry them off afterwards with the other side of the Q-tip and pop it back into your system. A lot of the times this is all you have to do. It could just be a lot of dirt that's on the cartridges. But in my case, this does not work. It's still blinking red and I still have no image on the screen. So now I need to open it up and take a look at the internal 72-pin connector to see if it's dirty or if there's debris that is stuck inside of there. Now there are some screws here that you need to open up. I believe there's 6 in total. You don't need to worry about these 2 screws on the top here. That's connected to the bottom chassis. These 6 screws are what you're going to have to take off. So we're going to go ahead and start that process and take this bad boy apart. Okay, so I was able to get most of the screws out with my magnetic screwdriver, but there are 2 that were a little stubborn. I'm going to turn this over and shake them out, and there they are. So we're going to set those aside for now. And now that the screws are out, this should just be able to pop right open. It's really easy to get into. We can get rid of the top unit here. We don't need that for now. Now, right off the bat, you can see this is really dirty. There's all kinds of crust here on the right side, and I don't know what that is. We're gonna take a look around briefly, see if I can find any like leaking capacitors or any obvious signs of damage. Again, there's so much crust on the right-hand side here, so when we take this plate off, we'll give that whole piece a thorough cleaning. I'm gonna grab my flashlight here, just to give you a closer idea of what we're looking for. This 72-pin connector inside, that's the part that we're gonna be replacing today. So in order to get to that though, we're gonna need to continue to dismantle this thing. Specifically, we're gonna take the top heat shield off. And to do that, you're gonna wanna unscrew these 7 screws on the inside of the unit. So I will go ahead and start taking this apart so that we can get to the good stuff here. Now, just to let you know, the screws on the inside are gonna be really stubborn and hard to get out. There are, again, 7 total, and I couldn't get it loose with my regular screwdriver, so I had to whip out some power tools just to get the screws out of the unit. And I don't recommend using the power drill to get the screws back in, but it's fine for taking them out. We just don't want to ruin the threads there. So now that that's done, we should be able to get this shield right off And again, you can see there's, I don't know what this is on the right side. It's like a physical, it looks like dirt or something. I don't know what it is. It's nasty. But we're going to set that aside. We're going to give that a thorough cleaning. And I got to say, the internal cartridge holder, as well as the 72-pin port, look really, really clean to me. There's no dirt or debris whatsoever in there. So I'm doubtful that this thing is not working because of any kind of debris or dirt issue with the cartridge acceptor itself. So we'll have to do some more digging here to see what the issue is. I know it's not power related because the unit is getting powered. So with these 8-bit Nintendos, they're very simple. There's only a handful of things it could be. Now, if your 72-pin connector was dirty, then you can do the same thing that we did with the cartridge. Grab some isopropyl alcohol and just give it a thorough cleaning. I'm doing this just as an example. My pins are super clean already. And while we've got this thing open, we're gonna grab some compressed air and give it a good cleaning here on the outskirts. There's gonna be a lot of dust and stuff underneath that I can't see. Yeah, there we go. As soon as I start blowing, you can see it's all starting to come out. Really nasty. So you want to blow out as much as you can. My goal is to dismantle this only as much as I have to. And then I'm going to take some alcohol and just give the visible components of the motherboard a good cleaning, because you can see here it's filthy. So if the contacts on the game cartridge are fine and the contacts on the pin connector inside of the Nintendo is fine, then what else could be the issue? Clearly it's getting power. Well, after some troubleshooting, I think I know what the issue is. You see, when you put a game into the Nintendo, it's supposed to fit into that slot firmly. It should be very firmly in place. Mine is incredibly loose. So here's a cartridge, and I'll show you that cartridge slots into the 72-pin connector, and there should be a little bit of a click, just the slightest bit of a click. There's nothing here. It just goes right in, barely any effort to push it in. Just to give you a better example of this, I'm gonna slant the Nintendo and just let it drop and let gravity do its thing. And there you go. It just slotted directly in. This thing is incredibly loose. So loose that it takes almost no effort to pull it out, and I think that's what the issue is. So we're going to go ahead and replace this 72-pin connector now. So this is the part that I bought. It's really tiny, and it's relatively easy to install, although getting to it requires dismantling most of the Nintendo console. This is it right here. And guys, I got this on Amazon. It was pretty cheap. This is the exact one that I bought, actually. It was the highest rated of all the replacement parts that I could find, and it's only $12, so I went ahead and picked that up. So we are going to replace this unit with the new one. So in order to do that, there are 6 screws, 3 on either side here, that will need to be removed so that we can get access to these components. So we're going to go ahead and take care of those. All right, now this piece should just slide off in the downwards direction. So if you give it a little bit here, it should slide off. If you give it a little bit of a wiggle, and there it goes. So now that that's off, we now have access to the part that we need to replace. Although to get to that, we're gonna want to take these screws out. There's 2 screws on the right. We'll want to remove those because that will allow us to take out the entire motherboard. So those are the last 2 screws here that we need to remove, so we'll go ahead and do that. And with those 2 screws gone, we can now lift the entire motherboard up, and that'll make removing this top component a lot easier. Now, believe it or not, this is not screwed in or soldered in any way whatsoever. You just literally pull it off in an upwards direction. It should just slide off of the motherboard. It slots in very similar to just a regular cartridge, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. right, so this piece is pretty stubborn to get out. You have to give it some force. There it goes, though. It's popped completely out. It looks like it's in pristine condition, although the motherboard contacts here, there is a little bit of metal missing there, but there's enough so that shouldn't be a problem. I've seen worse condition Nintendos that still function, so hopefully that's not an issue. If it is, then I'll need to add a little bit of solder or maybe replace the motherboard in its entirety. But since we have it open already, I'm going to go ahead and give it a good cleaning, both on the top and bottom sides of either contact, just to make sure that everything's in top-notch condition here. So we'll go ahead and clean these off and then dry them off. And once we've done that, we're just going to want to slot our new component back in, and this does take a bit of pressure to get in, but you just need to gently apply some force on both the left and right side, and it should pop right in. And once that's done, we're pretty much good to go. We just need to start reassembling everything, and that starts with putting the cartridge acceptor back in, and this is kind of a pain to get in. You have to be very careful when you're putting this back in, but once we slot this back in, we just need to go ahead and put all the screws back where they belong, and we should be good to go. So before I actually completely reassemble this thing, I want to show you that the cartridge, when it goes in now, if we slant it like we did before and let it drop, it doesn't just slot all the way in. Now you have to apply a little bit of pressure, and you can hear the click. So now it's a much more firm connection to the motherboard contacts there. So this, if I'm being honest, might be a little too tight now, but it should loosen up and settle down over time. So now we're just going to go ahead and finish putting this thing back together by putting the heat shield back on and then reassembling the chassis. Once everything's reassembled, just plug it back into your TV, and now it's the moment of truth. Does it work? We're going to power this bad boy on, and it is working now. There's DuckTales. I'm going to jump into the game just to make sure. Yeah, this is working great, guys. So, and hopefully this is helpful if you have a damaged system that you want to help repair. And as always, thank you for watching.